So it's time for another tech video, and I'm a little bit out of breath because I've had to go up in the loft to get down that old IBM NetVista. Now, what are we doing? Well, it's an interesting mix of bits and pieces, isn't there? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that car stereo, which I've literally just gone out and bought, and with some wire and tape and everything else, I'm going to turn it into a home stereo. This IBM NetVista, I need to cannibalise the power supply out of it to make this a super easy project that anybody can do. But effectively that machine dies today. No big loss, in all honesty though. So, bits and pieces that are needed. Well, I've got a drill at the back there. I have got, I'll just make myself comfortable while I'm at it, some basic paint. I mean, this is green. I don't really care how this is going to look. It's just, well, for the project. I will get some black stone chip as I want kind of a rubberized texture to it, or a ruggerized texture or whatever. Spare battery for my drill, that's irrelevant. Insulating tape, aka electrical tape. A couple of different pliers, some long nose, some snips. My lovely new snap-on ratcheting screwdriver with bit set. Various drill bits for the drill, charger for the drill, and to neaten up the cables internally, I've got a box of these stick-on cable tie things. So, we'll have a little look at the stereo. Oh, I've also got one of these ISO connections with bare wires on the end. All will be revealed with that. So here we are, opening this for the first time. Let's have a little look what we've got in here. Now, I'm not particularly bothered about what head unit we're using. To be honest, this should work as long as you're using a standard ISO connection, which looks like that for everybody to see. The stereo is kind of irrelevant, so I'm only taking this out of the box so we can actually have a little look at it. But no, I just went and bought a cheap head unit. Primarily, this one is a Sony DSX-A202UI. So if you want to look up the specs and whatever else, well, feel free. Personally, I don't care what it does as long as it's got USB on it, because that's all that's going to be used. So, yeah, so no comments about the stereo that I've used. This is not a definitive guide. This is not, I'm building it for, you know, audio files or anything. This is just for a laugh. So I really don't care about the head unit or those edge speakers, to be quite honest. So in the box we have got a plug that goes into the back of the stereo, which gives us our ISO connection on the back. Radio keys, that could be quite useful. Opening it up a bit further. Whee! It's going all a bit wrong there. We have got the actual stereo itself. I think it's all just one thing. Let's try tipping this out. I'm not going to apologise for the one-handed thing because everybody does that on YouTube. It should be accepted by now that if I'm holding the camera I can only use one hand. And if people expect me to use more hands, well, look at your own arms, that's how many we all have. So, opening this up, I have got a Mechless stereo, so there is no CD player. To be quite honest, I think CDs are now starting to become a little bit out of date. Make that a bit easier. So there's the brand new stereo. There we are, that'll do. Again, there's no CD drive on this, it is purely Mechless. So on the back we have, for those who don't know what's behind a regular CD player for a car, well, stereo for a car, little 10 amp fuse, that's where you plug in the main leads. This here is, I think, for steering wheel controls. It says rear out, could be for steering wheel controls. That is the plug for an aerial, and you've got a connection there, some audio connections to go to an amplifier. So yeah, let's do the satisfying part, shall we? I love doing that. So yeah, it's very basic. It will do. USB port on the front, it lights up all different colours and whatever else, but I don't really care. So this is going to take me a little while to do, and I'll leave the back off so you can see how it goes together. I haven't got my soldering iron with me at the moment, so I can't solder all the connections up properly as I'd like to do. So what I'll either do is I'll either twist them together and tape them temporarily, or if I can find myself some bullet connectors, which I think I have got kicking around, I'll bullet connector everything. But for now, no, it will be a really ghetto installation. It won't look overly pretty inside, but it'll give you a rough idea as to how to do this for yourself as well, if you so choose to. Ideally, if you're going to be doing it, one, I take no responsibility if you decide to go and, you know, kill all the penguins in the world with this thing or something. You know, if you're not competent enough to look at what's going on, not necessarily following my directions, but just a bit of common sense, don't hold me responsible, because basically that's not my problem. So I'm going to get on with wiring this up, and I'll catch you on the flip side after I've spent many hours and probably record the next part tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, so it's done temporarily. Please forgive how very crude it looks. As I say, this is more of a test and just to show you how it works. As for making it pretty and everything else, well, I'll do that at some point, but making it pretty and whatnot is completely up to you. I mean, you customise it however you like. So just to prove that it does work, we've got a bit of Studio Killers, so I'll turn it up for a few seconds and then turn it off. Hopefully I won't get flagged. If I do, Studio Killers, please don't shut down my channel. Or rather, Studio Killers, people who are making lots of money off their back, don't shut me down. So there you go, it is working. Obviously we can't have it on for too long because of YouTube's lovely flagging policy, which no doubt this will get flagged because of that. Right, okay, so power supply for a computer. Now, wiring up the speakers is fairly self-explanatory, but on an ISO connection, as long as it's a standard ISO, the two front speakers will be grey and white. Grey with a black strip and white with a black strip through it is for negative. Solid grey and solid white is positive. Let's not have those get too close, thank you. Like I say, this is very rough. So off the ISO connection, what you want to do is, if you've got a power supply with some Molex, you want to cut the wires, the yellow and black wire, and then off the ISO connection, which is off the stereo, the red and yellow wire, tie them together and then put them onto the yellow wire coming off the power supply. The black wire goes to the black wire off the power supply. That's it, really. I mean, that's how basic it is to wire up a car stereo for use in the house. I will make this much prettier. I mean, I just cut up one of our, well, I say one, the only old sub box I used to have from my car from years and years ago when I was a bit of a chav, as we call them in England, which obviously I'm not anymore. So I don't see the need for subs and everything else. I mean, I'm kind of past that now, I suppose. But yeah, so I've cut that up just for the sake of having some MDF to put this together to show you, really. So my old sub box died for you people. I hope you're happy. Anyway, here it is. So yeah, I mean, that is as basic as it can be. If you want to add more speakers, yeah, you can add more speakers. I mean, you've got 2 more channels, so you could add 4 speakers. Keep in mind, I mean, the stereo should have, you know, pre-outs and things, so you can hook up amps which will have more channels and whatever else. Bearing in mind, you can get speakers that have got passovers and pass-throughs and things. There's all sorts of things you can do. Basically, this is your foundation. Where you go from there is completely up to you. So comment, subscribe, etc. And if you do take on one of these and make your own and whatnot, definitely send us a comment with a link to your video and whatnot. I'd love to see what other people are doing. Like I say, this is completely rough, so I expect to see some finished ones, people. I expect to see some finished ones. Thanks very much for watching. Comment, subscribe, etc. Catch you all later.